Hey guys, it's Rose from Rewritten Vintage Journals, and I hope this is going to work. My tripod arm, the spring-loaded part that holds the cell phone on, is actually broke, and I had glued it with the E6000, and it seemed to work, and then ping, my cell phone dropped, and here we go. I tried hot glue, and it seems to be working right now, and we're going to try to film this as quick as possible. So this is my newest journal, and I worked on this side by side with my journal kit that I just released in my Etsy shop called France in Bloom. Lots of French digitals. And so let's do it in case it breaks. So there are actually 92 pages here. It's 6.5 inches wide and 9 3/4 inch tall, and it has 2 1/4 inch spine. And I'm sorry for the shakes. I'm on a very shaky table, unfortunately. So this is a 1800s book. It is, I think it was either a Peterson's book or a lady's, no, maybe it was a Gaudie's, if that's how you say it. And I really love this old aged look there, and I really wanted to keep the spine, but if you see my previous video, it was very damaged and it was very cracked. So like I left the spine on there and I reinforced the inside, and then I put this beautiful leather on the outside. So let's just get into it in case it breaks, my holder. And so I wanted to attach this here, just beautiful, but I made it into a pocket, and then this was a dried rose from my garden. It worked perfect. However, I thought, what happens if it molds? If it molds on the book and it's attached to the books, that would not be very nice. So I made it removable. So if that does happen, and it's actually, so some beautiful sari silk, and it is dried flowers out of my garden. It has this authentic, the Eiffel Tower. It's metal, France. It says France there, and it says Paris on this side, and it's also stamped right here. I hope you can see that. So you can take that off, put it on your keychain, whatever. But this is actually, it can be a little pocket in there, but I really did make it. I used this old French book page here, but my intent was to clip it in the journal and have it as a pocket. However, I really liked it on the outside of the journal, so here we go. This here is just some word quotes, all that fun stuff that will come with it, and probably other stuff as well from the kit. And then I added this book plate here so you could put your name in it. And there's the beautiful leather that I've been working on, trying to get that edge off. Okay. And it's really big. I didn't want it to be. I didn't start out to be that big. Okay. So it does have the binding, the rounded spine binding, so that it will open and lay flat. And I put this in here, and it's laminated. However, I see how it boings. I don't know if I like that. So the person that buys the journal can cut that out. I think you can run your scissors up along there and cut that out if they don't want it. But I originally thought that it would be cool to add like sticky notes and washi tape to it. You could pin it. You could paper clip it there so it doesn't boing. These are end pages from an 1800s book, and I glued that over top. This is in the kit. This is actually, that was printed off on this beautiful old wallpaper. So my inspiration for this was, I'm going to sit down. I've never been to France. On my bucket list, probably never will happen. And it was kind of daydreaming, thinking, what would it be like to walk down the streets of the cities, not particularly Paris, but like really nice cities, the fields, you know, on the outskirts of town, and seeing these beautiful flowers in France. So that was my inspiration. So here is, I avocado dyed this, and a little journaling spot there. This is original, authentic French documents. This is like a negative, but I printed it off on transparency paper, especially for inkjets, and that there was a lady in the streets of Paris selling flowers. So that's kind of where I was going with the journal. This here is an actual collage page, I believe, in my kit, and I just layered them together and made it, that's could be a tuck in there and then a pocket. 1800s French book pages that you can do whatever you wish with it. And I know this was not my colors at all. However, this is a famous, I don't know if it's a chateau or whatever it is, architecture in France with the lavender. So I had to add it, and it came out of a travel book. Some 1800s ledger. Okay, so let's see if I can get a little... So there is a tuck up there. And there is a tuck here. And this opens up. And this is out of a French book. And then here's some extra journaling paper. This is, if you see this, this is actually florist paper. And I just love the colors. Loved it. This is some French wallpaper. And I did leave some blank so that the person that gets the journal can add their own pictures. Perfect spot for journaling here. This is a printable French ledger. Okay, so this here, I actually made this. So there's the letter, okay? And this is a part of the kit, and I just absolutely loved her. So my images came from either the free sites, the public domain, the archives. And when I come across this, I was ecstatic because she's beautiful in her fur coat with the Eiffel Tower in the background. Just gorgeous. And what I did was I printed these. This is the collage paper, and then I printed this on the back side of it, and this was actually, it came from a French winemaker's ledger, and it was purple originally, and I just changed the color to the red, and so it fit this journal. Postcards, that's in the kit, and this is an authentic postcard, and I'm not going to pretend I know how to speak that French. Cute little tag there. Wallpaper. Just the streets of France, I hope, when I put it in the free sites for images. This is my green carrot, was it carrot? Carrot dyed paper, carrot top, I should say. And this came from a travel book, and I made that into a pocket. And then here is beautiful, the streets of the city in France. Another pocket there. So this here, paperclip. This is in the kit, this image, and all I did was, it's the Garden in Versailles. I printed it off on transfer tracing paper because it was beautiful. And this is a transparency. I printed it on transparency and then I layered it on this photograph, the Paris photograph that the makers used to back their photographs with to make that. And this here is an image from France, and you could put pictures there or another writing space. This, I believe, is in the kit, the Louvre. And so I just added that, and I added that from something else and made that perfect for journaling. The same with this, the Eiffel Tower, and the date on that is 1607. And I actually made that into a cute little, and see, Fabri-Tac, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I'm going to have to reinforce that. Okay, so here is a little baby rosebud from my garden, and so I made that. This is a bookend. This is in the kit, and that postcard is in the kit. 3 signatures. The old 1800s ledger. It's quite brittle, so I've been going along and reinforcing it. This came out of the travel book, and why did I include it? Sweetly scented dried flowers in a Saint Tropez shop window. And there's the tuck there. And this image is in the kit. All of these flowers are from my garden, which I dried and I laminated. I'll probably stamp that with notes. Sari silk. And that's a little pocket there. That's in the kit. And I made this cute little envelope. That's in the kit. That's in the kit. And that cute little label is in the kit. So much fun. I could have probably made about 5 kits. All the stuff that it took me, I think I worked on it, for at least 3 weeks gathering up stuff. And I have way more stuff than what I could ever put in one kit. It's crazy. And so this here was, I found this. This was a, probably an antique perfume, French perfume label or card. And so what I did was I tried to get it the same size so you could back them together and then just fussy cut out around and try to get an image, and it worked. This here is a famous French romance poet, I believe. That's a signature. This is a vintage book paper, bookends. Okay, so, and I am going to tag these folks, and hopefully I don't get in trouble. When I was Googling flowers in Paris, this name kept coming up, and I said, you know what, they're gorgeous. I'm just going to include it. I'm going to tag it in it. Hopefully I won't get in trouble. I did not take these photos. I do not own rights for these photos. These photos are from this flower shop, and I hope I say their name right. Deschamps. Okay, they're a famous flower shop. If you go to Paris, You need to stop there. They are gorgeous. They do gorgeous work. Their flowers are gorgeous. They do beautiful displays. Amazing. Okay. There is a video. I will link the video. And it interviews the owner of this shop. And it's fabulous. Okay. You guys, I will link it. You got to watch it. If you love flowers, you have to watch it. So I dedicated this to him. There is his storefront. Is that not absolutely stunning? And I made this so you can journal on it. So there he is. I just love it. So journaling spot there. Okay, journaling spot there. You can add a picture. And you can tell he's genuine. But looking at it touches us in some way. And to see a facade, maybe I'm not saying it right, filled with flowers like that, it's like, wow. Okay. These are all quotes from him. This is quotes from the video. I've spent my life working with real flowers. I use flowers and natural branches. So he actually uses, like, he goes out, he gets the wood branches, and then he attaches these gorgeous, they're not, he wants everyone to know they are not plastic flowers. They are fabric flowers. And the reason why he uses them is because it holds up in the weather. Of course, you couldn't use real flowers for the, what he does. With his displays, the flowers in his shop, of course, are real. So this came off of his Instagram page, and it's a part of his marketing, and I absolutely love it. There's his name, Paris, and that's a journal tag. Okay. Here is, this is affiliated with him. I think this is his work. I'm pretty sure it's his work when it comes up. This is one of the displays. An abundance of flowers making a big impression. You really want people to immediately say, wow. And what he says is true. His work is a definition of wow. You have to look it up. You have to see it. I will link that video below because it's awesome. You can tell that he is genuine. And there's another little journaling spot back there. So that is my little that's my little contribution to his flower shop and his beautiful works. And you have to look it up. You just have to. It's absolutely stunning, gorgeous. Okay, moving on. Wallpaper, big pocket. This is a collage sheet in my kit, and I actually printed it off on an antique, it's quite sturdy piece of paper, and it was beautiful. And this came from a French book. And yeah, journaling page. Okay, there's a pocket there, and that's attached to the front. This is going into the second signature. Journaling in there, beautiful sari silk. This is from that French travel book. And that's what I was envisioning. I was envisioning the flowers, the beautiful colors. And you can add some paper pictures in there. And is that, and that, oh, there's a map of France. And there is another pocket there. This came from a Paris sketch pad, and there is a little pocket up in there. I believe that's in a kit. That's a postcard, antique postcard. These here, I believe, some of these are in the kit. And that's why I put them in here, so you can make little collages, tuck spots like that. That's embossed piece of coffee dye paper. This came from probably an antique book. It's a little bit brittle. This is a printable from my kit. And this is me just having fun. And I absolutely love how this came out. Excuse me. Coffee dyed paper. And from my garden, this is a French poem, and that little bit of ephemera there. Another pocket. There's a big pocket, the streets in Paris. Some vintage linen. Some more vintage linen here and here, and I just turned that into a little tuck. I'm so sorry. So there's the transparency. These are roses that I took at the Tangled Gardens in Nova Scotia. And I just layered a whole bunch of stuff in there and made a little pocket. That goes beautifully. Another side pocket there. This little postcard's in the kit. I'm so sorry. Dictionary paper for France. I believe this is that same postcard, and then I printed it off and made that little journaling spot. So this cover is in the kit. It says Paris on it, little girls picking flowers, and I just turned that into a little extra journaling. A belly band and some more images from my kit. This is in there as well. Okay, so this is how this works. So I meant to write this down. I'm pretty sure it came from Treasure Books. This is a tutorial that she had on her YouTube, and so I followed it. Kudos to her. This is in my kit. I made that into a little belly band if you wanted to, and it's really fun actually. So it goes like this, and it opens up, and there's a little pocket here. That image is in my kit. And here is a dried rose from my garden. And there is a French sentence quote, and it says, I put the translation on back, "You are so pretty when you smile." And then here is some antique paper, and with that little poem or quote, and I'm not going to read the French, but I'll read the English. "My heart opens to your voice like the flowers open to the kisses of the dawn." Love it. And then that goes like that, like this. And then the back side of it, I just made that into a cute little belly band. Grand Magasin, the Louvre. And a little journaling spot. And that just goes over your page. Maybe she didn't, maybe it wasn't, maybe it's the next one. Maybe it wasn't Treasure Books. I'll link it below. Good grief, I hope. Some more of the ledger. Excuse me, this here was really brittle, so I had to reinforce that, and I did that with coffee-stained coffee filters, just to keep that old, authentic look. This is a collage sheet that I made. This is one of my favorite ones. This came from an antique book, and I made it into a pocket. Journaling card. This is the original authentic French ledger. This is vintage linen, and then all I did was, that's printed on linen paper, beautiful French roses. the book page. This is from an antique book. And this is in the kit. So the reason why I put this in is that beautiful border. And so I actually left it. So when you print it off, you can cut out the picture of the man and the wife in the kitchen, and then you can put your own pictures in behind. It was just that this here was so gorgeous. You can do what you want. I think that's gorgeous. This is it a hat pin? This I know for sure was Treasure Book's idea. I followed her YouTube, and this is Parfum de France. It's like a page hugger. You could really put a picture on there. And I've got it written down somewhere, they might have both come from her. And that is in the kit. Okay. And this beautiful picture of the Louvre is in the kit, and it was just perfect to make a bookmark. And there's a little Eiffel Tower charm. And that just fits, and there's a little slide pocket. Tuck. Left some spots. Add pictures and journal. This is on other vellum or tracing paper. This is a collage with some silk threads and some vintage pieces. Fabric. This is in the kit. This is authentic seed packet. This is I printed on tracing paper. So this here is the vintage book, and it is really vintage, and so it's doing some cracking. So I reinforced it with this from the kit, but I wanted that to be a pocket. However, the French countryside. There's another pocket there. These little labels are in the kit. Some book pages, and this is a little I made that, and I changed the color of it because it was French and it was cute. Bon Marché, the department store in Paris, and a cute little envelope. And this is another one of my photos, and I might do a kit with that. They're beautiful rose photos, and I just printed it off on the transparency paper and just added some Heather Style from Rose Hill Paper Cottage because I love how she does her mostly vintage bookends. There's that beautiful image. Lady selling flowers on the streets of Paris. This is 1891 catalog cover. Good place to journal. This is a vintage linen, and I made that little cluster collage. And this is cotton paper, and it's a bookend from an old book. And that's why I included all these little sayings, and so we could make these collage tabs. There's another one, and it says, in all ages the Parisians have loved flowers and gardens. This is a collage paper from my kit. This is French, all the French flowers, French names. That is not in my kit. And this little girl, 1875, and this is French, and I believe it is flower, blueberry picker, something. I did look it up once, but I should have included it. And this here is blueberries. And that is it. That is her in a beautiful nutshell. And I'm glad my tripod stayed up together for that. So I am going to put this in my shop. I stopped all, oh my goodness, I stopped all of my big parcels journals going to the States because of, you guys know, the tariffs and all that crap. But I am going to reevaluate that and figure out what I can do with prices, etc. And I've had one package in limbo because Canada Post was on, or is on strike. And the parcel was flagged at the border and sent back, and it's been a month and it's on its way back to the States now. But that's just a lot of stress, guys, for little businesses that, you know, hardly make nothing. So we'll see. So this will be available in my Etsy shop. If anyone sees this journal and is in the States, reach out to me and we'll work something out and we'll get you the journal somehow, one way or the other. Sometimes I take the hit and I don't mind every once in a while. If the person loves it, definitely wants it, gotta have it, I know it's going to a good home, then you'll get the journal. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.